BPA 5 Local Government, BPA 2 Section 2, Republic Act 7160, the Local Government Code of the Philippines, Book 4, Miscellaneous and Final Provision, Title 1, Penal Provisions.
Section 511. Posting and publication of ordinance with penal sanction. Ordinance with a penal sanction shall be posted at prominent places in the provincial capital, city, municipal, or barangay hall, as the case may be, for a minimum period of 3 consecutive weeks. Such ordinance shall also be punished in a newspaper or general circulation where available within the territorial jurisdiction of the local government unit concerned, except in the case of barangay ordinance, unless otherwise provided therein. Said ordinance shall take effect and of the day following its publication, or at the end of the period of posting, whichever occurs later. Any public officer or employee who violates an ordinance may be meted administrative disciplinary action without prejudice to the filing of the appropriate civil or criminal action. The Secretary of the Sanggunian concerned shall transmit official copies of such ordinance to the Chief Executive Officers of the Office Gazette within 7 days following the approval of the said ordinance for publication purposes. The Official Gazette may publish ordinance with penal sanctions for archival and reference purposes. Section 512. Withholding of benefits accorded to barangay officials, willful and malicious withholder of any the benefits accorded to the barangay officials under Section 393 hereof shall be punished with the suspension or dismissal from the office of the official or employee responsible. Therefore, Section 513. Failure to post and publish the estimated monthly collection and disbursements. Failure by the local treasurer of the local chief accountant to the post of itemized monthly collection and disbursements of the local government unit concerned within 10 days of the following in the end of the month, and for the least 2 consecutive weeks at prominent places in the main office building of the local government unit concerned, its plaza and main street, and to the publish said itemization in the newspaper of general circulation where available in the territorial jurisdictions of such unit, shall be punished by the fine not exceeding 500 pesos, or by imprisonment not exceeding 1 month, or both such fine and imprisonment, on the discretion of the court. Section 514. Engaging in prohibited business transaction or processing illegal pecuniary interest any local official and any person or persons dealing with him who violate the prohibitions provided in Section 89 of Book 1, herefore shall be punished with the imprisonment for 6 months and 1 day to 6 years, or a fine or not less than 3,000 pesos, not more than 10,000 pesos, or both such imprisonment and fine as discretion of the court.
This is the continuation of Book 4, Section 515. Refusal or failure of any party or witness to appear before the lupon or pangkat is a willful failure of any compliance with the summons issued pursuant in a provision of the Katarungan for Barangay. It is a code may be punished by the city municipal court as an indirect contempt of court upon application failed. Therefore, the lupon chairman, the pangkat chairman, are by any contending parties. It is a seeking judicial recourse for the same cause of action, the respondent who refuses to appear from filing a counterclaim arising out or necessary connected with the complainant. A pangkat member who served as such shall be entitled to an honorarium, the amount of which is to be determined by the Sanggunian concerned, subject to the provision code cited above. For the Section 516, penalties for violation of tax ordinance, the Sanggunian of Local Government Unit is authorized to prescribe fines or other penalties. For violation of tax ordinance, in no one cause shall want and a 1,000 pesos, nor more than 5,000 pesos, nor shall imprisonment be less than a week or a month rather. Such fine or other penalty or both shall be imposed at the discretion of the court. The Sangguniang Barangay may prescribe a fine of not less than 100 pesos, nor more than 1,000 pesos. For the Section 517, omission of the property from assessment or tax rules by the officers and other acts. Any officer is charged with the duty of assessing real property who willfully fails to access. It is a property that will lawfully and neglected other assesses and any real property. It violates or fail and can cause another taxation and cause penalties. Not less than 1,000 pesos. It is an imprisonment for, as I said, it is an imprisonment for a month for the penalty. This is the same discretion of the court. It is also the proceedings for the collection of the same. Any other officer required by this code to perform acts relating to the administration of the real property tax or to assist the assessor of treasurer in such administration who willfully fails to discharge such duties as jail. And it will also fail if you cannot fulfill this duty. It is also punished and not fined less than 500 pesos nor more than 5,000 pesos. It is not negotiable and it is not good for the discretion of the court, which can cause an imprisonment for less than 6 months.
A continuation of the Republic Act 7160, Book 4, Title 1. Section 518. Government agents delaying assessment of real property and assessment appeals. Any government official who intentionally and deliberately delays the assessment of real property or the filing of any appeal against its assessment shall, upon conviction, be punished by a fine of not less than 500 pesos, nor more than 5,000 pesos, or by imprisonment of not less than 1 month, nor more than 6 months, or both such fine and imprisonment at the discretion of the court. Section 519. Failure to dispose of delinquent real property at public auction. The local treasurer concerned who fails to dispose of delinquent real property at public auction in compliance with the pertinent provision of this code, and any other local government official whose acts hinder the prompt disposition of delinquent real property at public auction shall, upon conviction, be subject to a fine of not less than 1,000 pesos, nor more than 5,000 pesos, or imprisonment of not less than 1 month, nor more than 6 months, or both such fine and imprisonment of the discretion of the court. Section 520. Prohibited acts related to the award of contracts under the provision in credit financing. It shall be unlawful for any public official or employee in the provincial, city, or municipal government or their relatives within the fourth civil degree of consanguinity or affinity to enter into or have any pecuniary interest in any contract for the construction, acquisition, operation, or maintenance of any project awarded pursuant to the provisions of Title 4 and Book 1 hereof, as for the procurement of any supplies, materials, of equipment of any kind to be used in said project. Any person convicted for violation of the provisional of said title shall be removed from office and shall be punishable by enforcement of not less than 1 month nor more than 2 years, at the discretion of the court without prejudice to prosecution under other laws.
Title 2. Provisions for Implementation.
Section 521 also called a mandatory review every 5 years. This section outlines a provision requiring Congress to conduct a mandatory review of a particular code at least once in every 5 years, with the options of doing so more frequently as needed. Example is 2001 to 2005. Diba, 5 years na siya. So, mag-conduct sila one review. Another 5 years na po is 2005 to 2010, 2010 to 2015. Mag-conduct na po na sila og one review. Dahil tinitiyak nito ang mga nauugnay na patakaran, batas o regulasyon ay regular na ginasuri, gina-update, upang makita ang umuusbong na lipunan, ekonomiya at teknolohiya. The purpose of this review is to enhance local government structure, responsiveness, and accountability, ensuring that it effectively serves the needs of the community. Section 522, also called insurance coverage. These sections of the Local Government Code of the Philippines mandate the Government Service Insurance System or GSIS to establish and manage a suitable system providing insurance coverage for specific barangay officials. So kana kung ipang-mention mo ni sila ang isa sa coverage sa insurance, including the punong barangay, members of sangguniang barangay, the barangay secretary, the barangay treasurer, and members of the barangay tanod. So, kato sila ang covered sa insurance. Ang GSIS, required sila nga mag-conduct og annual study sa issues, rules and regulations, set premiums, and propose the necessary budget to Congress for the system operation. The funding for this insurance covered is included in the Annual General Appropriations Act.
Section 523, Personal Retirement and/or Benefits. So what is personal retirement or benefits? It is an official or employee of the national government or local government unit separated from the service. Which means, katong mga ga-work or mga separated na nga mga nagtrabaho nga wala na sa ilang pagserbisyo. As a result of reorganization affected under this code shall, if entitled under the laws then in force, receive the retirement and or benefits accruing thereunder. So, ang maka-benefits ani is katong mga employees sa national government nga naay katungod sa pag-force o mag-receive sa retirement nga kabalo sila sa balaod. However, that such benefits shall be given funding priority by the Department of Budget and Management in case of national officials and employees, and the local government unit concerned in the case of the local officials and employees. And of course, if ang isa ka employee or empleyado is dili siya kwalipikado or applicable sa pag-retire, na siya katungod sa usa ka reward from the national government or the local government unit concerned, as the case may be, equivalent to an amount not lower than 1 month's salary for every year of service, over and above the monetary value of leave credits said employee is entitled to receive pursuant to existing laws. The purpose of retirement benefits. A retirement plan is a part of compensation package of the employer to its employees. Having a retirement plan allows the company to invest in the financial security of its employees upon retirement. And based on Republic Act 8291, a retiring member could OPT for a 5-year lump sum of benefits with his monthly pension to be paid after 5 years, or cash equivalent to 18 months, with the payment of his pension taking effect immediately. Retirement is compulsory at 65 years. So with that, retirement planning is an important aspect for both employees and employers in the Philippines. Section 524, Inventory of Infrastructure and Other Community Facilities. A. Each local government unit shall conduct a periodic inventory of infrastructure and other community facilities and undertake the maintenance, repair, improvement, or reconstruction of these facilities through a closer cooperation among the various agencies of the national government operating with the province, city, or municipality concerned. Section 524, Importance. Number 1, planning and development. Number 2, asset management. Number 3, resource allocation. Number 4, economic development. Number 5, transparency and accountability. And the last one is the quality of life. And B. No infrastructure or community project within the territorial jurisdiction of any local government unit shall be undertaken without informing the local chief executive and the sanggunian concerned. Which means, dili ka basta-basta makapatukod og isa ka proyekto sa isa ka komunidad sa territory, like wala kay permission or isa ka pagpahibalo gikan sa local chief executive or sa hingtundan sa sanggunian. So, ang kailangan is permission una or pagpahibalo sa executive. Section 525, Records and Properties. Section 525 said that all records, equipment, buildings, facilities, and other properties of any office or body of a local government unit abolished or reorganized under this code shall be transferred to the office or the body to which its powers, function, and responsibilities are substantially devolved. And it is important because it provides for a more responsive local government structure instituted through a system of decentralization whereby local government units are delegated more powers, authority, responsibilities, and resources. Section 525, Importance, Transparency and Accountability, Legal Compliance, Financial Management, Property Management, Tax Collection, Urban Planning and Development, Historical Preservation, Service Delivery, and Asset Protection. So, records and properties are fundamental to the proper functioning of local government. They support responsible governance, economic development, and the overall well-being of the community by ensuring that resources are managed, used, and safeguarded effectively.
Title 3, Transitory Provisions.
Section 526. Application of this code to local government units in the autonomous regions. This code shall apply to all provinces, cities, municipalities, and barangays. In the autonomous region, units such time as the regional government concerned shall have elected its own local government code. Section 527. Prior approval of clearance on regular and recurring transactions. 6 months after effectively of this code, prior approval of clearance from national agencies or offices shall no longer be required for regular and recurring transactions and activities of local government units. Section 528. The concentration of requisite authority and power. The national government shall 6 months after the effectivity of this code effect the deconcentration of requisite authority and power to appropriate regional offices or field offices of national agencies or offices whose major functions are not developed to local government units. Section 529. Tax ordinances or revenue measures. All existing tax, ordinance, or revenue measures of local government units shall continue to be enforced and effective after the effectivity of this code unless amended by the sanggunian concerned or inconsistent with or in violation of the provisions of this code. Section 530. Local Water Districts. All powers, function, and attributes granted by Presidential Decree numbered 198, otherwise known as the Provincial Water Utility Act of 1973, to the Local Water Utilities Administration may be involved into the existing local water district should they OPT or choose to exercise in writing such powers, function, and attributes, provided that all obligation of the local government unit concerned to the shall first be settled prior to said devolution.
Section 531 Debate Relief for Local Government Units. A. Unlimited national collections and statutory contributions. All debates owned by local government units to the national government and unlimited contributions to the Integrated National Police Fund. The Special Education Fund and other statutory contribution as well as unlimited national government share of taxes, charges and fees collected by the local government units and hereby written off in full. B. Program loans. 1. Program loans secured by a local government unit which were lent to private person, natural or juridical, shall likewise be written off from the books of the local government unit concerned, provided, however, that the national government agency tasked with the implementation of these programs shall continue to collect from the debtors belonging to the private sectors of concern. 2. Program loans granted to local government units by national government agencies and which were utilized by the local units for community development, livelihood, and other small-scale projects are hereby written off in full. C. Settle of debts due to government financing, institutions, government-owned and controlled corporations, and private utilities. The national government shall assume all the fees incurred or contracted by the local government units. 1. Debits due. The national government may by outstanding obligations incurred by the local government units from government financing institutions at discounted rate. 2. Even due, the national government may settle such obligation at discounted rate through offsetting only to the extent of the obligation of the local governments against the outstanding advances made by national treasuries and on behalf of the government-owned and controlled corporation concerned. The case of obligation owned by the local government units to provide utilities which are indebted to any GOCC or national government agency, the national government may instead buy the obligations of the local government units from the private utilities at a discounted rate upon concurrence by the private utilities concerned. D. Limitations, obligations to the Home Development and Mutual Fund. Pag-ibig, Medicare and post-partnering of premium contributions and amortizations, payments of salary and policy loans to the government service insurance system are excluded from the coverage of the section. A. Recovery streams for the national government local government units shall pay back the national government whatever amounts were advanced or offset by the national government to settle their obligation to GFIS, GOCCS, and private utilities. The national government, whatever amount were advanced or offset by the national to the shall not charge interest or penalties on the outstanding balance owed by the local government units. These outstanding obligations shall be restructured and amortization schedule prepared based on the capability of the local government unit taking into consideration the amount owed to the national government. The national government is hereby authorized to deduct from the quarterly share of each local government unit in the internal revenue collections an amount to be determined on the basis of the amortization schedule of the local unit concerned, provide that such amount shall not exceed 5% of the monthly internal revenue allotment of the local government unit concerned. It as an incentive to deter local government units to increase the efficiency of their fiscal administrations. The national government shall write off the dividend of the local government unit concerned at the rate of 5% for every 1% increase revenue generated by such local government unit over of the preceding year. For this purpose, the annual increase in local revenue collection shall be computed starting from the year 1988. F. Appropriation such amount as may be necessary to implement the provision of the section shall be included in the annual generation appropriations act.
Section 532, Election for the Sangguniang Kabataan. The first election of the Sangguniang Kabataan to be conducted under this code shall be held 30 days after the next local election, provided that the regular election for the Sangguniang Kabataan shall be held 120 days after the barangay election thereafter. The amount pertaining to the 10% allocation for the kabataang as provided for the Section 103 of Batas Pambansa BLG 337 is hereby appropriated for the purpose of funding the first election mentioned above. The balance of said funds is there by any after the said election shall be administered by the Presidential Council for Youth Affairs for the purpose training the newly elected Sangguniang Kabataan officials and in the discharge in their function. For the regular election for the Sangguniang Kabataan, funds shall be taken from the 10% of the barangay funds reserved for the Sangguniang Kabataan as provided for the Section 328 for this code. Section 533, Formulation of Implementing Rules and Regulation. Within 1 month after the approval of this code, the President shall be convinced The oversight shall formulate and issue the appropriate rules and regulations necessary for the efficient and effective implementation of any and all provision of this code, thereby ensuring compliance with the principle of local autonomy as defined under the Constitution. The, the community shall be composed of the following: the executive secretary shall be the chairman. 3 members of the Senate to be appointed by the President of the Senate. To include the chairman of the committee on the local government. 3 members of the House of Representative to be appointed by the Speaker, to include the chairman of this committee on local government. The cabinet represented by the following: Secretary of the Interior and Local Government, Secretary of Finance, Secretary of Budget Management, and 1 representative each from the following: the Liga of Province, the Liga of Cities, the Liga of Municipalities, and the Liga ng mga Barangay.
Title 4 Final Provisions.
Batas Pambansa 337, otherwise known as the Local Government Code, Executive Order Number 112, 1987, and Executive Order Number 319 on 1988, hereby repealed. B. Presidential Decree Numbers 684, 1191, 1508, and such other decrees, orders, instructions, memoranda, and issuances related to or concerning the barangay are hereby repealed. C. The provisions of Section 2, 3, and 4, Republic Act Number 1939 regarding hospital fund, Section 3 and 2 of Republic Act Number 5447 regarding the Special Education Fund, Presidential Decree Number 144 as amended by Presidential Decree Number 559 and 1741. Presidential Decree Number 231 as amended Presidential Decree Number 436 as amended by Presidential Decree Number 558 and Presidential Decree Numbers 381, 436, 477, 526, 632, 752, and 1136 are hereby repealed and rendered of no force and effect. D. Presidential Decree Number 1594 is hereby repealed insofar as it governs locally founded projects. E. The following provisions are hereby repealed or amended insofar as they are inconsistent with the provision of this code, Section 216 and 29 of Presidential Decree Number 704, Section 12 of Presidential Decree Number 87 as amended, Section 552, 53, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, and 73 and 74 of Presidential Decree Number 463 as amended, and Section 16 of Presidential Decree Number 972 as amended. F. All general and special laws, act, city charters, decrees, executive orders, proclamations, and administrative regulation, part or parts thereof, which are inconsistent with any of the provisions of this code are hereby repealed or modified accordingly.
Section 535. Seepability clause is for any reason or reason. Any part of provision of the code shall be held to be unconstitutional or invalid. Other parts of provision hereof which are not unaffected thereby shall continue to be in full force and effect. For example, ang seepability clause na madalas matagpuan sa mga legal na dokumento ay napitiyak na kung anumang bahagi ng batas o code ay naituring na hindi constitutional o hindi wasto ang natitirang bahagi o hindi naapektuhan ay manatiling wasto at may patutupad na matutulong ang klausulang ito ay napanatilihin ang kakayahan ng batas kahit na tiyakin ng mga korte o ahensya na illegal o hindi wasto ang mga tiyak na sanksyon nito. Section 536. Effectivity clause. This code shall take effect on January 1st, 1992, unless otherwise provide hereof after its complete publication and unless on one newspaper on general circulation. Ang section 536 madalas na tinutukoy bilang ang effectivity clause ay nagtatakda na ang code ay magiging epektibo sa Enero 1, 1992. Maliban na lamang kung mayroon ng iba't ibang petsa na pagiging epektibo, ito ay magaganap sa pagkatapos ng kumplitong ang lalathala ng code sa hindi bababa sa isa. Pahayag ng pangkalahatang sirkulasyon upang tiyakin na ang publiko ay unawa ang nilalaman nito at ang petsa ng pagiging epektibo, karaniwan maririnig ang klausulang ito sa mga legal na dokumento upang linawin ang oras kung kailan maging epektibo ang isang batas o code.
Thank you for watching. Submitted by Rika Jane Elger, Honey Cacho, Cullen Babe Lachica, Christine Latoza, Monica Valdez, Jessame Tevis, Leonard Belga, John Michael Celebrin, Jarek Depis, Jarek Aliado.